The only thing separating you from everything you've ever wanted is discipline. Right there, in that simple truth, lies the key that unlocks dreams and turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. I know this because I've seen it transform lives right before my eyes. I remember watching a young man named Michael in our neighborhood. Every morning at 5 a.m., while others slept, his shadow would move across the sidewalk as he jogged past my window. Rain or shine, weekday or weekend, he was there training for his dream of becoming a professional athlete. Most people said he wasn't talented enough, wasn't built right for sports, but Michael understood something they didn't. Talent is overrated when measured against pure, unwavering discipline. 3 years later, when Michael signed his first professional contract, people called it luck. But I knew better. I had witnessed the thousands of early mornings, the countless hours of practice, the sacrifices most wouldn't dream of making. His success wasn't a matter of luck. It was the predictable outcome of discipline applied consistently over time. This truth isn't just about sports. It applies to every single area of your life. Your health, wealth, relationships, and personal growth all bend to the power of discipline. The most successful people aren't necessarily the most gifted. They're the most disciplined. Success has a secret that most people never fully grasp. It's built one day at a time, through consistent, disciplined action. Turn on your television, open a magazine, and you'll see stories of overnight successes. But here's what they don't show you. The years of dedicated work that came before that overnight breakthrough. Take Thomas Edison, for instance. When he invented the light bulb, newspapers celebrated his sudden breakthrough. They didn't mention the 1,000 failed attempts that came before, but Edison showed up to his laboratory every single day, following the same disciplined process of experimentation and refinement. He famously said, "Success is 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration. That perspiration, that's discipline in action." Consider this simple math. If you improve just 1% each day through disciplined effort, by the end of 1 year, you'll be 37 times better than when you started. Not 365% better. 3,700% better, thanks to the compound effect of daily discipline. That's the power of small actions multiplied by consistency. Look at someone like Warren Buffett. His wealth wasn't built through lucky stock picks or market timing. It came from a disciplined investment approach he's followed for over 60 years. Every morning he reads financial reports for several hours. He follows the same analysis process he's used since he was 19 years old. No exciting shortcuts, no secret formulas, just discipline, day after day. The truth about success is that it's boringly predictable. When you do the right things consistently, success becomes almost inevitable. A writer who writes 500 words every day will have a novel finished in 6 months. An entrepreneur who makes 5 sales calls every day will have contacted over 1,800 potential customers in a year. A student who studies 2 hours daily will accumulate over 700 hours of focused learning annually. This is why discipline creates predictable outcomes. It removes luck from the equation. When you rely on motivation alone, your results will be sporadic. Some days you'll feel motivated, others you won't. But discipline doesn't care about feelings. It's about doing what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. Building a house. You can't build it in a day, no matter how motivated you are. But if you lay one brick perfectly every day, consistently following the blueprint, you'll eventually have a magnificent structure. That's exactly how success works. Each disciplined action is a brick in your foundation of success. The most successful people I've met don't have extraordinary willpower or superhuman abilities. What they have is extraordinary discipline. They've created systems and routines that make success practically inevitable. They don't think about whether they'll work out today, it's just what they do at 6 a.m. They don't debate whether to make those sales calls, it's just what happens between 9 and 10 a.m. This predictability might seem boring, but success is usually boring in its execution. It's the results that are exciting. Olympic athletes don't win gold medals through sporadic bursts of effort. They win through years of showing up every day, following their training plan with unwavering discipline. Consider this truth. Everything in life has a price tag. Success carries a price, But what most people don't realize is that failure has a much steeper cost. When we lack discipline, we're not just missing out on success. We're actively paying the price of failure, and that bill comes with heavy interest. Let me paint you a clear picture of what happens in the absence of discipline. Imagine two individuals, both starting their careers at age 25. Tom decides to spend $5 on coffee every morning, while Sarah disciplines herself to make coffee at home and invest that $5 daily. A simple choice, repeated daily. After 30 years, Tom has spent over $54,000 on coffee. Sarah, through the compound effect of disciplined investing, has turned that same amount into nearly $200,000, assuming a modest 8% annual return. That's the hidden mathematics of discipline versus its lack. Every time we choose immediate gratification over disciplined action, we're not just spending money, we're losing the compound effect of that investment. This same principle applies to every area of life. Health. Missing one workout doesn't seem significant, but let's do the math. Each skipped workout represents roughly 300 calories not burned. 3 skipped workouts a week add up to 46,800 calories in a year, equivalent to about 13 pounds of body weight. The lack of discipline doesn't just cost you today, it compounds over time. I once met a business owner who struggled with time management. Every day he'd arrive at work 30 minutes late saying, "It's just half an hour," but multiply that by 250 working days, and suddenly you're looking at 125 hours of lost productivity annually. At his billing rate of $200 per hour, that's $25,000 in lost revenue, all from just 30 minutes of daily undisciplined behavior. The compound effect of disciplined actions works just as powerfully in the positive direction. Take reading as an example. Reading just 20 pages a day, a task that takes about 30 minutes, means you'll complete around 24 books in a year. Over 5 years, that's 120 books. Imagine the knowledge, insights, and opportunities that come from reading 120 books in your field. I know a woman who started a simple discipline of putting aside 20% of her income no matter what. Friends called her extreme. They bought new cars while she kept her old one. They took luxury vacations while she stayed local. 15 years later, she owns 3 rental properties generating passive income, while many of her critics are still living paycheck to paycheck. The difference? The compound effect of financial discipline. The most dangerous cost of lacking discipline is that it becomes a habit. When you allow yourself to skip one workout, it becomes easier to skip the next. When you break your study schedule once, it becomes simpler to break it again. Soon, indiscipline becomes your default state. Here's what's fascinating. The effort required to be disciplined often isn't much more than the effort of being undisciplined. The energy it takes to make your bed in the morning is minimal, but the psychological benefit of starting your day with a disciplined action is enormous. The time needed to plan your day is just 10 minutes, but the productivity gain can be several hours. The choice isn't really between discipline and freedom. It's between the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. Discipline weighs ounces. Regret weighs tons. Every disciplined action is a deposit in your future success account. Every undisciplined moment is a withdrawal from your potential. Remember, the price of discipline is always less than the cost of lack of discipline. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of giving up on your dreams lasts a lifetime. The question isn't whether you can afford the price of discipline, it's whether you can afford the cost of not having it. What I call the 5 pillars of discipline. The fundamental elements that, when mastered, create an unshakable foundation for success. These aren't just concepts to understand. They're tools to transform your life. The first pillar is time management, which really means life management. Time is the great equalizer. We all get exactly 24 hours each day, no more, no less. The difference between achievers and dreamers lies in how they use these hours. I've learned that successful people don't find time, they make time. Take my friend Sarah, an accomplished surgeon. She performs complex operations, runs a clinic, and still manages to be home for dinner with her family most nights. Her secret? She plans her week every Sunday for 30 minutes, breaks each day into 30-minute blocks, and protects her most productive morning hours for her most demanding tasks. That's disciplined time management in action. To master this pillar, start with a simple practice. Plan tomorrow before you go to bed tonight. List your 3 most important tasks. When you wake up, tackle the hardest one first before emails and phone calls hijack your day. This small discipline practiced daily will revolutionize your productivity. The second pillar, consistent action, is where most people falter. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's showing up day after day, especially when you don't feel like it. Think about water dripping on a rock. One drop does nothing, but consistent drops over time will split that rock in half. That's the power of consistent action. I know a man who wanted to write a book but claimed he never had time. I challenged him to write just 500 words every morning before checking his phone. No excuses, no exceptions. 6 months later, he had a complete manuscript. The secret wasn't writing talent. It was the discipline of consistent action. Start small, but be consistent. Whether it's making sales calls, practicing your craft, or building relationships, small actions compound into massive results when done consistently. The third pillar, emotional control, might be the most challenging yet most rewarding. Success isn't about not having emotions, it's about not letting emotions have you. Every successful person I've met has mastered the art of doing what needs to be done, regardless of how they feel. Here's a practical strategy. Create a morning routine that sets your emotional tone for the day. 10 minutes of meditation, positive affirmations, or simple breathing exercises can build your emotional resilience. When challenges arise, and they will pause for 6 seconds before reacting. This tiny discipline gives your rational mind time to catch up with your emotional response. Physical wellness, our fourth pillar, isn't just about looking good. It's about having the energy and vitality to pursue your goals. Your body is the vehicle that carries your dreams. If the vehicle breaks down, the dreams stay parked. This doesn't mean you need to become a fitness fanatic. Start with small, manageable disciplines. Drink water first thing in the morning, take a 15-minute walk daily, get 7 hours of sleep. I remember meeting a CEO who transformed his company by first transforming his health. He started with just 20 minutes of exercise 3 times a week. As his energy improved, his leadership improved. As his discipline in health grew, his discipline in business grew. Physical wellness creates a ripple effect that touches every area of your life. The fifth pillar, mental fortitude, is about training your mind to be your ally rather than your enemy. Mental fortitude isn't about being tough. It's about being disciplined in your thinking. It's choosing to focus on solutions instead of problems, opportunities instead of obstacles. Here's a powerful way to build mental fortitude. Start a daily reading habit. 15 minutes of reading in your field makes you better informed than 90% of your competition. Add another discipline. Write down 3 things you're grateful for each night. This trains your mind to find opportunities rather than obstacles. These 5 pillars work together. When you strengthen one, you strengthen them all. Think of them as the 5 fingers of your hand, individually useful, but together capable of gripping any challenge life throws at you. The key is to start small, but be consistent. Don't try to master all 5 pillars at once. Pick one area, establish a small discipline, and practice it until it becomes automatic. Remember this, these pillars aren't about perfection, they're about progression. You don't have to be perfect in any of them. You just need to be better today than you were yesterday. That's the essence of discipline. Start with time management. Plan your next day tonight. Add consistent action. Do one important task first thing tomorrow morning. Practice emotional control. Take those 6 seconds before reacting. Build physical wellness. Take that 15-minute walk. Strengthen mental fortitude. Read those 15 minutes daily. These small disciplines, practiced consistently, become the foundation of extraordinary achievement. They're not complex, but they require commitment. And that commitment is what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. Building discipline is like building a muscle. You don't start by lifting the heaviest weights. You start with what you can handle and gradually increase the load. This simple truth has transformed countless lives, and it's about to transform yours. If you tried to run a marathon without training, you'd likely fail and hurt yourself. But if you start with a 10-minute walk, then gradually increase your distance and speed, you'll build the strength and endurance needed. Building discipline works exactly the same way. Start with a task so small it seems almost ridiculous. Want to write a book? Start with one paragraph daily. Want to get in shape? Start with one push-up. Want to save money? Start with $1 a day. These aren't your final goals. They're your starting points. The key is to make the task so small that your mind can't create excuses to avoid it. I knew a salesman who struggled with cold calling. Instead of setting a goal of 50 calls daily, he started with just one call first thing in the morning. Just one. After a week, it became 2 calls, then 5. Within 3 months, he was consistently making 40 calls a day. Why? Because he built his discipline muscle gradually without overwhelming himself. Accountability. Your mind is clever. It will try to negotiate with your disciplines. This is where systems become crucial. Create what I call discipline triggers. Specific times or situations that automatically launch your disciplined behaviors. Set a glass of water by your bed each night. When you wake up, drinking it becomes your first disciplined action of the day. Place your running shoes by your door. Schedule your most important task for the same time each day. These aren't just habits. They're systems that make discipline automatic. For accountability, find what I call a disciplined partner. Share your daily goals with someone who cares about your success. My friend Robert increased his gym attendance by 80%, simply by having a workout partner waiting for him each morning. The power of external accountability is real and measurable. Your morning routine sets the tone for your entire day. Build it carefully. Start your day by making your bed. It's a small victory that creates momentum. Spend 10 minutes in silence, planning your day. Eat a healthy breakfast. These aren't just random actions. They're discipline builders that compound throughout your day. Your evening routine is equally important. Review your day's achievements, no matter how small. Plan tomorrow's tasks. Remove obstacles to your morning success. Lay out your clothes. Prepare your workspace. Small evening disciplines eliminate morning excuses. But here's the reality. Setbacks will happen. You'll miss a day. You'll skip a task. You'll break a streak. This is where most people fail. Not in the setback itself, but in how they handle it. Remember this, discipline isn't about perfection, it's about correction. When you face a setback, don't waste energy on guilt. Instead, use what I call the next action focus. Ask yourself, what's the very next action I can take to get back on track? Missed your morning workout? Take a 10-minute walk at lunch. Skipped your writing? Write 1 paragraph before bed. Maintaining momentum requires understanding this truth. Motivation follows action, not the other way around. Don't wait to feel motivated to take action. Take action, and motivation will follow. This is why starting small is so powerful. It makes action easy, which builds motivation, which makes larger actions possible. Create what I call success triggers, small rewards that reinforce your disciplined behaviors. After completing your daily task, give yourself a small reward. Maybe it's 5 minutes of reading, a favorite song, or a cup of coffee. Link pleasure to your disciplines and they become easier to maintain. Track your progress, but focus on patterns, not individual days. Use what I call the 2-day rule. Never skip your discipline 2 days in a row. This allows for human imperfection while maintaining long-term consistency. Remember, building discipline is a skill, not a trait. No one is born disciplined. It's developed through consistent practice and intelligent strategies. Start small, build gradually, create systems, and maintain momentum through setbacks. Your discipline muscle will grow stronger every day, making possible what once seemed impossible. The most powerful truth about discipline is that its greatest rewards aren't immediate. They're cumulative. Small actions repeated daily create results so massive they seem almost magical. But there's no magic involved, just the unstoppable force of compound effect. If you had a choice between taking $1 million right now or a penny that doubles every day for 30 days, which would you choose? Most people would grab the million. But that penny, doubled daily, becomes over $5 million by day 30. That's the power of compounding. Your disciplined actions work exactly the same way. Take fitness as an example. One push-up seems insignificant, but one push-up daily, adding just one more each day, means you'll be doing 365 push-ups in a single day by year's end. This isn't theory. I've watched people transform their bodies through this simple progression. The first month, nothing seems to happen. By month 3, small changes appear. By month 6, the transformation is remarkable. The same principle applies to knowledge building. Reading 10 pages a day seems small, but those pages compound into 3,650 pages a year. That's 12 solid books of knowledge you didn't have before. If those books are in your field of expertise, imagine how that compounds into career opportunities, problem-solving abilities, and income potential. I remember meeting a woman who started saving just $5 a day, the cost of a fancy coffee. She didn't increase the amount, she just maintained that small discipline. After 5 years, combined with modest investment returns, she had over $10,000. But here's what's fascinating. That same $5 daily discipline continued for another 5 years, grew to over $25,000. The action stayed the same, $5 a day. But the results compound dramatically over time. This is why breaking down big goals into daily actions is so crucial. Want to become an expert in your field? Break it down. 1 hour of focused study daily equals 365 hours a year. That's 9 40-hour weeks of dedicated learning. In any field, 9 weeks of focused study annually will put you in the top 10% of professionals within 3 years. The snowball effect of good habits is unstoppable once it gains momentum. Each disciplined action makes the next one easier. Each small victory builds confidence for bigger challenges. Success in one area spills over into others. The person who masters the discipline of regular exercise often finds their eating habits improving naturally. The individual who develops discipline in saving money often becomes more disciplined in time management. Here's a truth most people miss. Success isn't about intensity, it's about consistency. Showing up every day beats showing up intensely once in a while. I've watched countless people start with intense bursts of effort, only to burn out quickly. Meanwhile, the consistent plodder, maintaining small but regular efforts, passes them by. Water dripping on a rock. Each drop seems insignificant, but day after day, year after year, that steady drip will carve through solid stone. Your disciplined actions are like those water drops. Each one may seem small, but their cumulative impact is unstoppable. The power of showing up daily is about more than just the actions you take. It's about who you become in the process. Every time you honor your commitments to yourself, you build self-trust. Every time you follow through on a disciplined action, you strengthen your character. These changes in identity are often more valuable than the direct results of your actions. Consider this. If you improve just 1% daily, that compounds to nearly 38 times better over a year. Not 365% better, 3,800% better. That's the miracle of compound improvement through discipline. Most people overestimate what they can accomplish in a day, but vastly underestimate what they can achieve in a year of consistent, disciplined action. Remember, the compound effect works both ways. Small negative actions compound into major setbacks, just as surely as small positive actions compound into massive successes. This is why the discipline of showing up daily is so crucial. It ensures you're always moving in the right direction, even if the steps seem small. The key to harnessing the compound effect is patience combined with persistence. Results may not be visible for weeks or even months. But like a seed growing underground, the effects of your disciplined actions are accumulating, preparing to break through in ways that will seem sudden and dramatic to others, though you'll know they were earned through consistent, disciplined effort. Here's something remarkable about discipline. It can become as natural as breathing. Just as your heart beats without conscious thought, your disciplined actions can become automatic. Part of who you are rather than something you do. Driving a car. Remember when you first learned? Every action required intense concentration. Now you drive while holding conversations, thinking about your day, all without conscious effort. Why? Because you programmed your subconscious mind through repetition. Discipline works the same way. Programming your subconscious mind starts with repetition. But here's the key most people miss. It's not just about repeating actions. It's about repeating thoughts and images that support those actions. Before bed each night, spend 5 minutes visualizing yourself performing your disciplined actions. See yourself waking early, exercising, working productively. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between vivid imagination and reality. Use this to your advantage. Your environment shapes your behavior more than willpower ever will. I know a writer who struggled with productivity until she created what she calls her writing trigger. She set up a specific corner of her home with a comfortable chair, good lighting, and no distractions. Now, sitting in that chair automatically triggers her writing mindset. The discipline becomes automatic because the environment demands nothing else. Create these environmental triggers in your own life. Want to exercise in the morning? Lay out your workout clothes the night before. Place your running shoes by the door. Make the disciplined action the path of least resistance. Remove friction from good habits and add friction to bad ones. The people around you shape your standards. If you're the most disciplined person in your circle needs to grow. Find individuals whose discipline inspires you. Join groups where disciplined behavior is the norm. When you're surrounded by people who wake up early, work hard, and maintain high standards, those behaviors become your natural state. Here's a secret about making discipline enjoyable. Link it to pleasure. After completing your disciplined action, reward yourself with something you enjoy. Maybe it's a favorite song after your workout, a few minutes of reading after completing your most important task, or a cup of special coffee after your morning writing session. Soon, your brain associates the disciplined action with pleasure, making it something you want to do rather than have to do. Notice how children learn through play. Apply this principle to your disciplines. Turn your daily tasks into games. Track your streaks. Compete with yourself. Celebrate small wins. The more you enjoy your disciplined actions, the more likely you are to maintain them. Remember this truth. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself to live a restricted life. It's about automating the actions that move you toward your goals, freeing your mind for higher-level thinking and creativity. When discipline becomes your natural state, success becomes inevitable. Your daily disciplines are like programming code for your life. Each repetition strengthens the program, making it more automatic, more natural. Soon, living without discipline feels uncomfortable. That's when you know you've succeeded, when discipline isn't something you do, but something you are. Right now, in this moment, you stand at a crossroads. Everything we've discussed, the power of small actions, the compound effect, the 5 pillars of discipline, the systems for success, none of it matters without action. And that action must start now, not tomorrow, not next week, but in this very moment. Where you are right now, and where you could be 1 year from today through disciplined action. Remember, every great achievement in human history was built through daily disciplines. The pyramids were built 1 stone at a time. The greatest books were written 1 word at a time. Fortune 500 companies were built 1 sale at a time. You've learned that success isn't about grand gestures, but small, consistent actions. You understand that discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. You know that every small action compounds over time into massive results. Here's your challenge. In the next hour, take 1 small disciplined action. Make your bed if you haven't. Write 1 paragraph. Make 1 sales call. Do 1 push-up. Start so small that failure is impossible. Then tomorrow do it again, and again the next day. Imagine yourself 1 year from now, looking back at this moment. Will it be the moment everything changed? Will it be the day you started your journey to greatness through discipline? That choice is yours to make right now. Remember, discipline isn't something you have, it's something you do every single day until it becomes something you are. Your future self is being created by the actions you take today. Make those actions count. The time for thinking is over. The time for action is now. Start small, but start immediately. Your future is waiting. Go build it, 1 disciplined action at a time.